Hello and happy Tuesday. You are live with Sandra. It's all about choices, where every Tuesday I have the pleasure of dishing out your weekly dose of nutrition and wellness news for your mind, your body, and your soul. And I'm delighted to have each and every one of you join me today. I hope that you are having a wonderful day. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. And I thank you always for taking time out, hopefully having some lunch, hopefully a change of pace for just a few minutes before you get back into the hustle and bustle of your day. Our bodies always needs to have a little detox in the middle of the day. And so for those listening to the replay, I thank you for pausing, taking time out of your schedule to tune in and listen to some news that will help move you forward in your goals for your health and your wellness. And so we are speaking from the series your all-time favorites, your all-time favorite topics, the ones that you responded to the most, the ones that you requested the most. And so I'm excited to come before you this month. And before I get in too far, I would like to set up my windows so that when you all respond to me, I am able to see you on and I'm able to say hello to you and refer to you by your name. So give me just a second to get my window set up and then we will rock and roll. And this will give an opportunity for some more people to sign on as well. Let's see here. Got one window set up and we have all of our windows set. All right, so thank you for that little pause there so that I can get things set up. And so as you are tuning in, please say hello to me, say where you're tuning in from. Just give me a shout out, okay? And so let's jump right on in. So today we are talking about, is gluten-free the healthier way to go to eat healthier or to lose weight, okay? Is that the way to go? And so as you're tuning in, please feel free to say hello to me and just tell me where you're tuning in from, just to give me an idea of where we're tuning in from. And so more and more individuals are going gluten-free. And they're doing it for many reasons. Some are doing it to get healthier. Some are doing it to reduce bloating, to jumpstart their weight loss. But the question is it necessary to go gluten-free to accomplish this? Is it accurate to go gluten-free to improve your health, to jumpstart weight loss, to reduce bloating? What do you think? What do you think? And so today I'm going to set the record straight on when a gluten-free diet is recommended, why gluten-free even exists in the first place, and to give you some insight on how to identify good choices of gluten-free items. Okay? So let's jump right on in. So for those who do not know me, my name is Sandra Goldtree and I am a registered dietitian. I'm also a certified personal trainer and I am your accountability partner. And my mission is simply to show people how to get food to work for them instead of feeling like food works against them. I take joy in adding variety in adding foods to a client's food list that they may have taken off their list, or maybe they felt like they weren't allowed to have it or was supposed to have it because of maybe some of the diet that they were following, or maybe they were just given that information without a medical reason for doing so. And so I help clients to lose weight, keep it off. It's great to lose weight, but you want to keep it off and boost energy and overall really just to feel better. You want to feel better. You want to feel good about yourself without dieting, without deprivation. And the goal is to build lifestyle habits that last the long haul. Okay. And so my motto for 2023, we are creating a lifestyle of change, extending my motto from 2022, where we were breaking food strongholds. So they both go together, whether we realize that or not, but they all go hand in hand. So again, chime in, introduce yourself as you're tuning in. This month, March Madness, March fun, all about your favorite topics that I have done over the course of a year. And today is gluten-free, the healthier way to go to eat healthier or to lose weight. So I always like to pose a question. So have you ever gone gluten-free? Like intentionally made decisions to eat foods or to stay away from foods that had gluten in them? Yes or no? Okay. Whether that was to eat healthier or whether that was to lose weight or whatever your reasons were, to feel better, okay, etc. And so just say yes or no to that, and it will kind of give me an idea of of who I'm talking to today. And so, what is gluten free? So let's kind of start from the beginning. What is gluten free? So gluten free is a collective term for proteins that are found in grains like wheat and rye and barley and things like that, and that give baked goods that doughy, elastic structure. So that's really what gluten is all about. And sometimes gluten free is found in oats when it is in a facility where other gluten containing products exist. But naturally, oats or oatmeal are gluten free. Okay, but if it's in a facility, then cross contamination can take place. And gluten is also used as a thickening agent to enhance the flavors of foods. Okay, so that's kind of on a nutshell what gluten is. All right, so let's talk about when is gluten recommended. And so it is recommended for people with celiac disease, a gluten sensitivity, or a skin disorder. Okay, you have a certain skin disorder, okay, dermatitis, her let me see if I can say it right. Herpetiformis. And that is an autoimmune condition that results in a chronic, itchy, rashy skin. So you can Google that to get more information on that. But those are the reasons, the medical reasons that people will go gluten free. Now, gluten free diet may help some people with irritable bowel syndrome, and this is on a case by case basis. So this is not always necessary, but again, it's on a case by case basis. And there's a process of determining whether or not that is the right way to go. And so beyond this, there is very little evidence that gluten-free diets offer any particular health benefit other than eating an overall general healthy eating pattern. Okay. And so that being said, are you surprised? Are you surprised to learn that gluten-free acts as a thickening agent and to enhance the flavors of food? So many people don't think about that, or many people don't really know what gluten-free is. That is a protein in wheat products. So and more of us, some of us may know that it is a wheat protein, but most of us don't even know that much. We just see gluten-free on the front of packaging, and it just seems like it's a good thing to do. Or many people will say, I stopped eating gluten and I feel better, or my stomach is not upset, or I don't have as much GI distress. But I challenge that there's some other things going on that really related to that temporary relief and not necessarily gluten-free when there's not a diagnosis of any type of intolerance present. So that I will gladly challenge. Okay. Okay. And so why does gluten-free even exist in the first place? Okay. So the term gluten-free has become another fad diet. I remember there was a time a few years ago where that was like rampant. Okay. So it was another fad diet and many people jumped on that bandwagon. And I hear often from clients that they try eating gluten-free in order to lose weight. Okay. And the fact is, gluten free, again, is necessary for those who are diagnosed by a physician, not self diagnosed, with either celiac, non celiac gluten sensitivity, or wheat allergies. Okay. And so individuals diagnosed with celiac disease, they must follow a very strict gluten-free diet due to their immune response that results in damaging the lining of their small intestines, resulting in GI distress, vitamins and minerals not being absorbed. So now we're talking about nutritional deficiencies. And so those with non-celiac gluten sensitivity or wheat allergies, generally they will experience some level of GI pain that's related to, some distress. However, there's no damage done to the lining of the small intestines. Okay. So it's not as detrimental. It's painful, but it's not as detrimental to the lining of the small intestines when it is a non-celiac gluten sensitivity. And so the takeaway message at this point in this presentation is GI pain or pain from wheat products. If you're having those type of pains, get tested for either celiac or non-celiac gluten sensitivity or a wheat allergy. Okay, do not self-diagnose. Do not just start pulling away foods and taking away foods, and then think that you're feeling better. So it's best to get a diagnosis because there are side effects and there are ramifications for going gluten-free. And we're going to talk about that as well. So obtain the proper testing from a medical doctor to avoid introducing even more nutritional deficiencies. And hence it's going to lead to even more GI problems and even more immune issues and more inflammatory type symptoms. Okay, so we're going to talk about that a little bit more. Okay, so that's what people don't always understand is when you take away, what are the effects of that? Okay, there's always a cause and effect. Okay, and so problems with going gluten free as a fad diet. So let's talk about that. So the problem is that many people, unfortunately, they self-diagnose themselves. They'll Google it and think that, oh, this is the answer. And or they feel that eating gluten-free will relieve their GI distress. And so some use gluten-free, and then some even use gluten-free as a means of weight loss, which is even a far stretch. Okay. There is absolutely zero connection between gluten-free and weight loss. Okay. And so there's no evidence to support that eating gluten-free is even related to weight loss. And so the key nutrients that are removed must be monitored when eating gluten-free, such as folate, thiamine, riboflavin, niacin. And so because most wheat products are enriched with these vitamins by law, especially if we talked about whole wheat last week. So if the brand has been stripped, then by law, these manufacturers have to enrich these foods with certain B vitamins for overall health reasons. So we won't have an issue in our country with deficiencies. And so this is the reason why you're eating a diet rich in, or having an eating pattern. I do not like the word diet. So this is why it's very important to have an eating pattern that is rich with whole grains, fruits, vegetables, low fat or non-fat dairy, unsaturated fats, lean, clean cuts of your meats. They are very important to avoid nutritional deficiencies unless it is medically contraindicated. Okay, so we have 5 food groups for a reason. Do we need to eat an enormous amount of foods and servings from each food groups? Absolutely not, but we should, okay, in order to make sure that our bodies are at its optimal. And so that being said, and feel free as I see people tuning in, give me a shout out, ask any questions, make any comments. Absolutely, because this is all about ironing, sharpening iron, and everybody learning from everybody. And so, did you know that vital nutrients are stripped from gluten-free products? Okay, did you know that? Yes or no? You did know, you didn't know. Many are unaware that gluten-free is free of important nutrients that add, and then adds, and then you restrict carbs and calories further, that increases the nutritional deficiencies that can potentially occur especially if you're dieting or if you're following some kind of named diet. Okay. So on the bright side of things, okay, so that's kind of the things that people don't know about. So let me see. I think I see a few comments. So let's see if I can see them in the chat here. Let's see here. So I'm not able to see them in the chat. So let's come here and see what we got here. Nope, I didn't know. So thank you. How you doing, Krista? Good to see you on. I'm looking at all my windows to make sure that I can catch everybody. And so on the bright side of things, so let's talk about some gluten-free food sources, okay? And so there are many foods that are naturally gluten-free. So a lot of times when you see the marketing on different foods, a lot of times they will say gluten-free because it's a buzzword. It sounds good. It sounds healthier. But in many cases, those foods are naturally gluten-free. So nothing was really stripped from it. But the fact that it was pointed out that it was gluten-free, that tends to draw a consumer to buy it because they think that that's a better choice. So some common grains and starches are flours that are part of that are gluten-free naturally. So arrowroot, I'm just going to name some stuff, but most of this stuff you will see on a food label. You won't always buy it individually. So arrowroot, buckwheat, millet, corn. So corn, flax, gluten-free flour. So those would say gluten-free on the packaging. So they're made from either rice, soy, corn, potatoes, even bean flours. You have your quinoa, you have your rice, including wild rice, and your soy products. So these are naturally gluten-free. So nothing was stripped from it, nothing was taken away from them. They're naturally gluten-free. And oats should have been on here as well, because oats as well. And so let's see here. Yes. And like I said, many of those you will see on on the ingredient list. Okay. And some you will purchase individually, but a lot of these ingredients you'll just see on the list, on the ingredient list. So foods that are natural, so additional foods really that are gluten-free. And so and again, going back to marketing, okay, these foods are already naturally gluten-free. And so, when you don't know, you don't know. So many people believe that they're making healthier choices or informed choices because the gluten has been removed. But again, if it is not medically necessary, you do not want to remove things, because now you have to do more work to supplement for the nutrients that were stripped away. And so these are some other additional natural gluten-free products, okay? Which are many of these are non-grain related. Okay. So that's why I wanted to kind of separate these out. And so you have your meat, poultry, and fish. So this is when it's in its natural form. It's not breaded, not marinated, but just in its natural state. They are gluten-free. Eggs are gluten-free. Fresh fruits and vegetables are gluten-free. Legumes, so those are your peanuts and things like that, are naturally gluten-free. Beans and things like that. Many of your dairy products, okay, when they're in their natural state. So low fat, non-fat is where you want to go with your dairy products. And so when you see a food boasting that it is gluten-free, or they're kind of highlighting that it's gluten-free, and it's something that I just named, like milk or something, then it's already gluten-free. So that's what I call marketing hype, okay? Because it will lure a consumer who is not aware, who doesn't know, and that will say, oh, I'm gonna buy this over this because it says it's gluten-free. Okay. So nothing was ever removed from these products. They were naturally gluten-free. Okay. And so kind of keep that in your pocket. And so if you have ever purchased a particular food, have you ever purchased a particular food because it was stating that it was gluten-free? So just kind of say you have, or maybe you have not, but have you ever purchased a food because it said that it was gluten-free? Okay. So post on that, and then I'll take a look at those comments. And so let's talk about, I'm gonna move on and I'm gonna wait for those comments to come in. So good gluten-free choices combined with other food groups. So let's talk about that. So good gluten-free choices combined with other food choices. So recapping our good gluten-free choices include naturally gluten-free foods, such as, like we said, the lean meats, the dairy, low-fat dairy, your vegetables, your fruits, your whole grains that will state that they're gluten-free. Okay. And also, if you know the list, that's also very important to know the list of grains that are gluten-free, like we had mentioned about barley and rye and things like that. And your healthy fats. Okay. So it's important not to replace gluten-free containing foods with more red meat, more than you really need, especially if fattier cuts or full fat dairy, or just overdoing it in other areas, because this can lead to a higher, of course, intake of cholesterol. It can lead to a higher intake of unwanted calories. So you still want to make sure that you're staying within your specific calorie needs, and you are eating lean, an overall, like I said, general healthy eating plan or pattern, and knowing what that means and what it doesn't mean. And so it's also prudent to limit the commercially prepared gluten-free snacks and bakery products, which are typically high in refined carbs and high in sugar and fat and salt and things like that, just like their gluten-containing counterparts. Okay, so you have to really take caution about the processed end of it. And so I spoke about that 2 weeks ago, about what does processed foods really mean, and we talked about that spectrum from minimally processed to ultra processed. So there is a spectrum there. So bottom line, takeaway message. So if you don't need to go gluten-free for medical reasons by a medical provider, then gluten-free is not the enemy. Okay, that is not what's causing the weight gain. That is not what's causing the GI upset. That's not what's causing the bloating or the inflammation. In many cases, it's some nutritional deficiencies present just because of what's missing overall in your eating pattern, not eating around the plate, those 5 food groups, and enough for your specific body. That's usually what the case is. And so that's one of the things that I work with my one-on-one clients, is in order to create that plan to where they are bridging that gap and correcting those nutritional deficiencies, so that they're no longer reacting to foods in a way that they shouldn't react to. Okay, it's just their body just being out of balance, and there's a lot of nutritional deficiencies that needs correcting in order for the body to react properly. And there is no health benefit in ordering from gluten-free menus at restaurants or purchasing gluten-free foods. Okay, they're more expensive. If you've noticed, they're more expensive, and there are nutrients that you're missing that you need to replace at some point in your day. So it's not necessary. So don't go to the gluten-free menu at a restaurant thinking that you're going to get this healthier meal. No, you still have to look out for the same things that you need to look at, whether it's gluten-free or not. You still got to watch the calories. You still got to watch the fat. You got to watch the carbs. You got to watch the salt intake. So you got to watch all that stuff. Okay. So are you someone who has been struggling with your weight, or maybe some health conditions since you was a childhood, or maybe you're just beginning to struggle with some things as you became an adult, or as we're getting older? Many of us are getting older, and as we're getting older, we're dealing with things that we didn't have to deal with before. So in either case, you're at a point in your life where it's a concern. It's a concern. You want to get a handle on it, and most likely it's impacting how you feel about yourself, but it's also predisposing you to other health conditions, potentially high blood pressure, diabetes, pre-diabetes, poor quality of sleep, high cholesterol, sugar cravings. That's a big one. So all these things feed into one another, and a lot of times people don't know that. And so I encourage you to download my new updated guide, 5 days of meals, recipes, itemized grocery list, and a prep guide to guide you every step of the way. And it's called Jumpstart Your Weight Loss and to Boost Your Energy Levels. And I'm going to put the banner here, and I'm also going to put it in the chat as well. Well, hey, clone sister, I see Nikki is on. Good to see you. Thank you for the shout out. And let me put this other one in. So I love it when people come on. I have my regulars and okay. So Krista made a comment about depending on it depends. Sometimes it depends on other ingredients. Gotcha. So she was addressing a question that I had asked earlier. And so yes. So I appreciate my regulars coming in, supporting every week. So grab your copy of this. They're easy meals, and you can even do them individually. You can follow the 5-day plan as written, or you can pick out some recipes you like and do them individually, or pick out some snacks that you like individually and do it that way. So make it your own, but you have all the steps there. There's substitutions. So don't always feel like you have to buy everything that's on the list. There's always information in the notes section where you can substitute things. So maybe you already have certain things in your pantry, so that way they'll save you some money. So this concludes what I have for this week. So I encourage you to download the 5-day meal plan and give me a shout out. Let me know what you liked. What was your favorite meals? And if there is a gluten sensitivity or that has been medically diagnosed, then definitely make sure that you get the gluten-free versions of some of the grains that are in the meal plan. But if you have not been diagnosed, then I would caution in doing so, okay? And I would recommend, if you are feeling some GI discomfort and things of that nature, I suggest you get tested so that way you know what direction to take, okay? And that's where a dietitian can come in and to help you to determine, okay, how should we reintroduce foods, or how should we introduce foods to see really what the culprit is, okay? So, but the key is getting tested, okay? It's not good to make decisions blind, okay? So again, this concludes what I have for this week of your nutrition news for your mind, your body, and your soul. And I am Sandra, your RDN. Thank you for tuning in live. And next week, we are going to continue on our March Madness, our March Fun with your all-time favorites. And we are going to talk about processed food. So I thought I talked about it already. Last week was the grains. And so we are going to talk about processed foods next week. Okay. And are they bad for you? Are they bad for you? And do they hinder weight loss? So tune in, because I think you'll get pleasantly surprised on what is processed, and I won't say what is not, but there's certain assumptions about certain things that are not processed that are. And so you tune in and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. And so mark your calendars for next week. And I thank you all for tuning in live, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.